He was the most powerful man alive. Emperor of Rome. Commander of 40 legions. And every single night, alone in his tent on the northern frontier, he wrote in a small private notebook that he never intended you to read. He didn't write to teach. He didn't write for glory. He wrote to stay sane. This is the book we now call Meditations. And almost 2,000 years later, it is still one of the most devastating documents ever written. Not because it contains secret wisdom, but because it contains a man fighting himself in real time. Tonight, I want to show you what he actually wrote. And why it still cuts through everything you think you know about living, about power, and about dying. To understand the book, you have to understand the man. Marcus Aurelius was born into privilege, but he did not want the throne. When his adoptive father named him heir, he wept. Because he already knew what power does to people. He had watched emperors before him. He had seen how absolute power warps ordinary men into monsters. For 19 years, he ruled an empire that was constantly at war, constantly drowning in plague, constantly threatening to fracture beneath him. His own son would later become one of the worst emperors in Roman history. His wife was rumored to betray him. His friends died, one by one. And through all of it, he kept writing. He wrote at night. He wrote between battles. He wrote when plague was killing his soldiers faster than the enemy. And what he wrote was not a philosophy lecture. It was not a policy document. It was a man talking to himself in the dark, trying to become a better human being before the sun came up. Listen to how he begins. Not with a quote. Not with a treatise. But with a list. From my grandfather, I learned good manners. From my father, I learned modesty. From my mother, I learned piety. He is training his own memory. He is reminding himself, line by line, who he wants to be. Because he knows how easy it is to forget. There are 3 lessons in this book that, once you truly understand them, you cannot go back to living the way you did before. The first is this. You do not control what happens to you. You only control what you do about it. Epictetus had said this before him. But Marcus had to live it. When plague killed his men. When betrayers surrounded him. When his own body began to fail, he wrote, again and again, focus only on what is yours. The second lesson is harder. Most of what upsets you is not the event. It is your judgment of the event. Remove the judgment, and the suffering collapses. Someone insults you. The insult did not wound you. Your belief that it mattered wounded you. A plan fails. The failure did not break you. Your story about what failure means broke you. This is not a trick to feel better. It is a weapon. It is the difference between a man who reacts and a man who chooses. Marcus was surrounded by reasons to rage. He did not. Not because he was numb. Because he had trained, night after night in that tent, to see clearly before he acted. That discipline is available to you. Right now. For free. It just costs everything that's comfortable. The third lesson is the one most people cannot bear. You are going to die. And so is everyone you love. Marcus wrote this to himself, over and over. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He was not being morbid. He was being honest. And here is the thing about honesty. It frees you. The Romans had a phrase for this. Memento Mori. Remember you will die. Generals whispered it in the ears of victorious soldiers as they marched through Rome. Because even at the peak of glory, the march ended. The parade ended. The applause ended. And the only question left was, what kind of human being did you become along the way? This is what Marcus discovered, sitting alone in that tent. Death is not the tragedy. Wasting the time between now and death is the tragedy. And most people waste almost all of it. They waste it on anger. They waste it on comparison. They waste it pretending that the approval of strangers is the same as the respect of themselves. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Every line was a note to himself. And somehow, 2,000 years later, they become notes to you. When Marcus died, the book almost died with him. It was not published. It was not circulated. It survived by luck. By one copy, passed through uncertain hands, for centuries. If that copy had burned, we would know nothing of his inner life. He never wanted fame for it. And that is precisely why it is trusted today. So here is the question this book leaves you with, tomorrow morning, when you wake up. Are you in control of your own mind? Or are you being pulled by the events, the news, the opinions, the insults, the small humiliations, the small flatteries of everyone else? Because if Marcus could stay steady, ruling an empire, at war, dying slowly, watching his son turn into a monster, you have no excuse. Neither do I. Start tonight. Get a notebook. Not a computer. A notebook. And write, in your own hand, what kind of person you want to be. Not tomorrow. Now. Write it the way he did, without an audience. Without likes. Without anyone reading over your shoulder. Because the only person you are ever really writing for is the one who will meet death wearing your face. That person is waiting. And he remembers every night you chose comfort over becoming. He remembers every night you did not write. He remembers every night you let the world pull you, instead of choosing. Marcus knew that man. He wrote the book for him. Now you know him too. If this hits something in you, subscribe. We go deeper into Stoic philosophy, dark psychology, and the quiet disciplines that separate people who drift from people who build a life they actually respect. Read Meditations. Not because it's famous. Because it was never meant to be.